Liberal Dan Radio presents
Fat Man Rant.
Alright, so I wasn't planning on doing this type of video until after my student loans, the number of payments got reduced when the adjustment was made to my number of student loan payments. Currently, I have 128 payments left on my student loans, and that has not been adjusted yet. However, because I was going to do a video about that once it happens to tell everybody how awesome Joe Biden was and how awesome this plan was and how much money Joe Biden was going to be saving me because he did that, right? So that was the first thing I was going to do when the adjustment was made by the Department of Education to my student loans. But they beat me to it because they did something else to help me out more quickly. I thought that my student loan payments starting this month when payments resumed were going to be about $280 per month. This is going to be an additional $280 that I was going to have to start coming up with per month. Now, fortunately, my job has a benefit that pays $50 a month towards my student loans. So in reality, I was going to have to be paying $230 a month. Again, this is money that I wasn't paying before, and I had been in like forbearance previously because of unemployment, and then I was a need-based forbearance or whatever, and all of this stuff, my student loans had piled up a good bit. Whatever. Here's the thing: I am so sick and tired of hearing people whining and complaining about how little Joe Biden has done for people when it comes to student loans. First of all, he tried to wipe out $10,000 to $20,000 of debt for everybody, but an activist conservative Supreme Court said no. Despite the fact that the Department of Education, when they tried to do that $10,000 to $20,000 wiping of loans, despite that same power that they use for that, DeVos used that same authority to pause student loan payments and pause interest. So why did she have the authority to do that, but Biden's Department of Education did not? Because you have an activist conservative Supreme Court. But Biden did this other thing, or two other things. The first thing that I talked about was that they were adjusting the amount of payments that people had already made and were counting time spent in deferment and forbearance because too many people had been steered into forbearance and deferment when they should not have been. So they are counting those times spent in deferment and forbearance, unless it was in school deferment, and also times when people made like partial payments. They're counting all of those things as months spent in repayment and adjusting people's student loans accordingly, so that there are people who are now getting their student loans written off under this new rule. And that's awesome for them. I haven't quite gotten there yet. I haven't seen how much of my student loan months are going to be chopped off because of this. I have a feeling it's going to be a good bit. And I was waiting for that, again, because I thought that was going to be the big money saver. That was going to save me a whole bunch of money. But no. Again, as I said before, I was expecting to have to pay an additional $230 per month on my student loan starting this month. I went and looked at my student loan portal today. Because of the new student loan repayment plan that they put into place that reduced student loan payments to those people who are still in repayment, my payment dropped to $49 a month. Which means that after my work pays the $50 a month that they pay, I'm not going to have to pay anything. So thank you to work for that $50, but B, thank you to Joe Biden, because I'm not the only one who is being helped here. There are other people who are being helped here as well. A ton of other people. Not just the people who today, another 100,000 people or so, or even more, who got their loans wiped clean either because they were in public service loan forgiveness plans that were not previously forgiven because DeVos fought that, or there were people who were who had 20 or 25 years of payments after the credit of the forbearance and the deferment, Those people got their loans wiped, clean, and they no longer owe anything because now they counted those time spent in deferment and forbearance. Those people have been helped out. You have people, they have new disability rules, and there are people who are under disability who are having their loans being wiped away because they are disabled, and people who are disabled are not supposed to have to pay student loan payments. All of these people are people that Joe Biden helped. On top of the fact that the SAVE plan that he implemented is now saving additional students who are repaying their loans additional money. And not just the fact that they're saving money, but any payment that's made, like that's not that if you make your payment under the SAVE plan, and then if there's additional interest left over from your monthly payment, that interest doesn't get added to your overall debt. So your debt's not going to grow anymore either. So your debt's going to stay the same, assuming you don't go back to school and incur more debt, but your debt's going to stay the same. Your debt's no longer going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. You get this lower amount, which for me is an amount that's $230 a month less. $230 a month less times 128 months is just about $30,000. Joe Biden's plan, the Biden administration's plan, has saved me and my family over the course of the duration of the rest of my repayment $30,000, assuming nothing else changes, assuming no other adjustments. $30,000 is what Joe Biden's administration plan has helped me do. So if you're going to sit out there and blame Joe Biden for not helping, especially the people who are on the extreme left, who are always whining and bitching and complaining about the fact that he hasn't done anything for students, he hasn't done anything for student loans, no, screw you. He's done a crap ton. He has done more for student loans, for people who are suffering under student loan debt, than anybody in the history of this country. And I'll be damned if I'm going to have people tell me otherwise. Again, he just saved me $30,000 on student loan payments. Is he going to get my vote? Abso-frickin-lutely. And he deserves your vote too. And he deserves you to stop being a bunch of whiny bitches about it. End rant.